Before landscapes like you see behind me were studied, they were described by early settlers, early explorers, firsthand accounts. And a lot of those firsthand accounts don't say anything about a natural formation. They were describing what it looked like to them in that very moment. They weren't describing what somebody told them it should look like. And you may be surprised that the wording that they use, the terms that they use, is from architecture, not from geology. The first article we'll be discussing is on Mammoth Cave in 1854. Now, Mammoth Cave wasn't even discovered until the early 19th century, so this is one of the first accounts of explorers describing what they were seeing, and it is jaw-dropping. The Mammoth Cave is an antiquity of the world before the flood, a city of giants which an earthquake swallowed, in which a chance roof of rocks has protected from being effaced by the deluge and by the wear of elements for subsequent ages, is one of the fancies which its strange phenomena force upon the mind. All is so architectural. It is not a vast underground cavity, raw and dirty, but a succession of halls, domes, and corridors, streets, avenue, and arches, all underground, but all telling of the design and proportion of a majestic primeval metropolis. It is not a cave, but a city in ruins, a city from which sun, moon, and stars have been taken away, whose day of judgment has come and passed, and over which a new world has been created and grown old. By what admirable law of unknown architecture those mammoth roofs and ceilings are upheld is every traveler's wondering question. In some shape or other, I heard each of my companions express this. No modern builder could throw up such high vaulted arches, and so unaccountably sustain them, and all else in keeping. The cornices and columns, aisles and galleries are gigantically proportionate and as mysteriously upheld. Streets after streets, miles after miles seem to have been left only half in ruins, and here and there is an effect as if the basements and lower stores were encumbered with fragments and rubbish, leaving you to walk on a level with the capitals and floors once high above the pavements. It might be described as a mammoth Herculeum, first sepultured with overtopping mountains, but swept and choked afterwards by the waters of the deluge that found their way to its dark streets in their subsiding. What scenery and machinery this will be for the poets of the West by and by. Their Parnassus is a house ready furnished. That article makes me giddy. So giddy. I mean, I could picture an antediluvian giant coming around that corner, just stepping on that guy without missing a beat. Couldn't you? And you can go on Library of Congress and find some older photos that have some anomalies in it, like this fracture in the rock, I'm sure from falling, and it made a perfect straight line. Now, I would love to show you more photos, but we got to move on to another account, above ground, the Badlands of South Dakota. If you don't know what that place looks like, go to my buddy's page, Anytimes23. He's a modern day adventurer, a sweet talking son of a gun, and he's had a lot of content on that area. And boy, this article speaks to what he's talking about. The gentleman in this 1894 magazine doesn't describe the Badlands as a desert. He describes it as a ruined city. And the description is wonderful, but the drawing is even better. Look at that. He explains that from a distance, the terrain looks like an immense plain filled with ruins surrounded by what appear to be walls and bastions. As he moves closer, the land reveals gigantic domes, columns, towers, pyramids, and monuments, all seemingly broken, collapsed, or partially buried. Rather than smooth hills or eroded rock, the author emphasizes sharp edges, structured forms, stacked layers, and symmetrical shapes, comparing the formations to castles, amphitheaters, columns, and temples. He even describes passing between two colossal columns and discovering what appears to be a vast amphitheater enclosed by crumbling, indented hills. The author repeatedly highlights that the landscape feels intentional in its layout, chaotic in its destruction, and vast in scale, giving the impression of a city that has suffered some immense catastrophic event rather than one shaped slowly by nature. So maybe natural formation isn't the best answer. It's the easiest answer. Love y'all, and have a good day.